Pretty cool though that Dick Tracy came up with the Apple Watch like 100 years before it came out. Being like, "Oh, I've got a phone call. Hello. Oh, let me listen to the radio. Click, beep." You know,
Yeah, I guess Star Trek
insane.
invented the iPad in the late 80s.
2001 invented the iPad in 1969.
Cool. I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen 2001: A Space Odyssey?
No.
Oh,
What about that film
It's a
would
pretty
you
good one.
think I would have seen independently?
it's undisputed greatness in the annals of film history. Like it's an incredible film. It's rated G, so it's a film that gets played in movie stores, as Ben and I know, because it's one of the only movies that we would ever put on in our days working at video stores.
Like, I know the deal. I know like the music and the dun. Yeah.
See, none of the
Anyway,
music is even from the movie. It's all classical music that was just chosen.
Mhm.
cool.
It's time for you to watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, but honestly, maybe read the book first. As great as the movie is, it's one that I feel the book is actually essential reading because the last third of the book is represented as one 7 minute just like series of images,
Who
which
wrote the book?
Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote this
Oh,
with
yeah,
him,
yeah.
and Kubrick co-wrote the book with him. So all of the ideas of the book are canon to the film.
Mhm.
And then Arthur C. Clarke went on to make a bunch of sequels in the 80s because they
That's
wanted.
what you did in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah. And the third sequel is actually pretty good, but the first two sequels are just pablum. So we'll never see a film of 3001, but that is I think the most interesting one. In that one, the guy who gets flung off into space at one point is found and woken up 1,000 years later. And they say, like, oh, well, we reanimated your body. You're only going to be able to live for about 50, 60 years or so. But you can live again in the year 3000 and see what things are like. And he just has a little adventure and winds up fighting the aliens from the first movies. It's
So is
wild,
is the
lost Washington,
predication,
gardening.
I assume the predication that it takes place in the year 2001?
I mean, the new movie, the third one, I mean, the fourth,
Nar,
the
original
movie
movie.
3001
Yeah.
takes place in the year 3001. Although,
Holy shit, really?
yeah, the retcon,
And the movie
um,
2001 takes place in the year 2001
Thank
AD.
you. That's what I
Yeah.
asked.
the
Current
retcon,
era.
God.
the retcon of 3001 is actually that 2001's events take place more in the 2040s.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say, I was like, how do they address 9/11?
Or COVID. How did that one
Right.
come up in the history books? I bet some novel somewhere did accurately predict
But
it.
I'm talking about 2001. They must have addressed the events of September 11th in there.
I mean, X-Men 97 addressed the events of September 11th in episode 5. Remember it. Let's get to talking about that.
Yeah.
Before we get into talking about the plot, do you guys have any just takeaways, immediate feelings from episode 5, Remember It, which was written by Beau DeMayo?
Um,
That's
yeah,
got
I
to be the
mean,
most epic like fight scene we've ever seen on the X-Men, I think.
Yeah, like the battle when they're fighting the Sentinel in the ruins of Genosha's capital city is pretty fucking intense. Like Gambit especially has some crazy moments when he's fighting that thing.
I am a big fan of the super, super uncomfortable dynamics between everybody this episode.
Yes.
It's a
Love
So
it.
painful
messy.
episode full of
Love
extreme
it.
emotions, right?
What?
It's a painful episode full of extreme emotions, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah, but unfortunately, those extreme emotions make me giggle because these people are very unserious. It's like, oh, you know what? Somebody needs to talk to these people about ethical non-monogamy because there's a couple things that could just like they could wrap it up with a neat
I mean,
little bow.
I think even a polyamorous couple would struggle with the realities of a clone replacing somebody and then that clone having the child in the relationship. You
Hmm.
know?
I'm more
They're
talking
mutants,
about the
Jamie, not
Wolverine Jean
freaks.
Cyclops of it all.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's
We'll get to it.
actually before we get into this episode, we should talk about the directing and writing. We forgot to credit directors and writers on the last two episodes because we're goofballs. Anyway, the first episode was directed by Jake Castorena, and then after that, it just alternates on the even-ish episodes between Chase Conley and the odd-numbered episodes by Emmett or Emi Yonemura. So there's two directors mainly doing it, kind of like how Larry Houston mostly did it, and then Fred joined him later on. Most of the show is written by Beau DeMayo or Beau DeMayo with somebody else.
Charley Feldman.
Yep, the first two episodes were just Beau DeMayo on his own. He wrote To Me, My X-Men and Mutant Liberation Begins. And then Fire Made Flesh and Motendo slash Life Death Part 1 were both collaborations between Beau DeMayo and Charley Feldman. Episode 5, Remember It, which we're going to talk about right now, was written by Beau DeMayo on his own. And then Life Death Part 2 was written by Charley Feldman on his own.
Yeah, so how are we going to talk about these episodes?
I mean, first we should dive into the time machine.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, but first, do y'all think Beau DeMayo is like a really handsome, super white guy?
No, he is not. He's very, very handsome, but he's a black guy.
Ah, the
yeah.
name DeMayo threw me off.
Like if you look on his Instagram, you can see exactly how attractive the man is because it's mostly just cheesecake photos of him posing.
Also, I love the inclusion of topical music of the time with "It's So Beautiful Life" by Ace of Base.
Okay. As soon as that started, I was like, oh, right. It just made everything feel a little bit more timely.
Yeah, the number one song both weekends this was Like That by Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar.
One of those people is cool.
I don't even know, I don't even know who Metro Boomin is. I think I saw him on some ads for WrestleMania. The number one movie the first week was again Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, but we had a new number one April 12th, which was Civil War, A24's biggest movie until Backrooms came out.
Oh, right. I was um, like the Captain America movie?
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think.
the movie written by the dude who writes science fiction movies for Danny Boyle.
Jesse Plemons, right?
Yeah, Jesse Plemons is the probably the most famous person in the movie, although apparently he got the one scene because he was just doing it as a favor to the production because Kirsten Dunst is the star of the movie, her and Wagner Moura. I haven't.
So I would say Kirsten Dunst is the most famous person in it.
Yeah, okay, you're right. I, although I'd argue that at this point in time, Jesse Plemons is like as recognizable as Kirsten Dunst.
However, we do need to factor in longevity on this one.
Yeah,
That lady's been famous since the 90s.
since she was a child, literally. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Did you see Civil War, Ben? I never did. It was too scary. The idea of it, too grim.
It's too scary.
Like all the A24 movies, too scary.
No, I watched all. I've seen almost every goddamn A24
I
movie.
was just gonna say, I've given a
I'm just
lot
kidding.
of money to those fucking creeps.
But this is honestly the scariest of all of them to me is Civil War because it just looks like it's presenting a World War III scenario in North America, which feels more.
2027.
Dude, this year, I think that with the whole centennial and everything, by the time this episode even comes out, even who knows, the UFC thing will have happened or not happened.
If America's still
I feel
standing when
like
this episode comes out, okay.
Good job,
the
America.
extreme heat of the summer could be something that spurs them into action or makes them so tired and lazy that they don't do anything. Could go either way.
Oh.
Like Summer of Sam, like it was really hot that New York summer and he was out murdering people and it made everyone all freaked out. Yeah.
Yeah, Instead of a serial killer, it's the president. It starts basically with Genosha asking Magneto to be their ruler, right? Which is a big turnaround from 3 episodes ago when he was on trial with
Yeah,
the.
right. Former terrorist Magneto.
They're like, oh well, this guy got away, so since he did get convicted, he should be our president now.
Hey, it's weird how that works.
Yeah, that would never happen in real life.
Yeah.
I remember for so long, like Lex Luthor being president and Kingpin being mayor seemed like such extreme positions for comic books to have taken. And now it just seems that they're,
I think that illusion died with Eric Adams. Anybody can be mayor now.
yeah, I really think that Eric Adams was not what broke the barrier on that, though. Come on. Eric Adams is a guy coming in the wake of Trump. He's a guy benefiting off of what Trump did.
Yes, but in totally different and unhinged ways. I almost respect Eric Adams because just when you think he's gonna zig, he zags to Turkey. And it's really impressive. Wait, isn't he like an Albanian citizen now?
Something like
I
that.
thought he became a
Yeah.
Turkish citizen. Yeah.
No, he was
He,
he was a Turkish citizen before, but I think he just got another one.
Let's get to the Madeline and Jean of it all because we see this scene that seems like it's Cyclops and Jean talking things through, but it's actually Madeline, who is over in Genosha, and she is actually a member of the council that has chosen, along with Moira McTaggart and a Banshee and a couple other Callisto mutants, have chosen Magneto to be the leader. So Jean discovers this, and it's like it's as bad as physical cheating, right? It's emotional cheating, and she flips out and she leaves the mansion and she goes and talks to Wolverine. And this is what you were alluding to earlier, Jamie. She confides that she doesn't know what she remembers anymore, right? She doesn't know where the line is, where they started. Like we think it's obvious that it was beyond good and evil, but I
Yeah.
guess for her, like you never really know. Or maybe they just can't be like, remember that 4-part episode, Beyond Good and Evil?
Remember small, minute details from 30 years ago?
Yeah. It's fine that it's vague. But the point is that she actually kisses Logan, and he doesn't really treat this like his dream coming true. He knows that she's just like flailing and reaching out for something, and kind of rejects her and says that the way things are is that she's with Scott, and that's just how they are. Who knows if they're laying the groundwork for the throuple from the comic books?
I hope so.
Could it be? I don't know. Maybe not really with what's going to happen to Wolverine anytime soon, but maybe by season 3, because that is confirmed. Season 3 and 4 of X-Men 97 are coming in 2027 and 2028. They apparently have a big long-term plan.
Magneto and his friendly people.
Hold on, Magneto?
Magneto. Yeah, it's his name.
Ma okay.
I've only ever seen it spelled out.
You So Magneto, upon being offered leadership of the country, says, "Yeah, I'll do it if Rogue will marry me." Because it turns out that when Rogue was a kid, basically, we had an affair, and
Yeah,
then we just decided to never bring it up because he wanted to give her a chance to have her new family. It was a little bit flimsy, a little bit out of nowhere. It is a reflection of what happened in the comics. There's all these images of them in the Savage Land, which kind of implies this affair happens during that earlier time when Magneto was in charge of the Savage Land. That was referenced in season 2 of the cartoon in the first place, the 90s cartoon.
and Gambit loves this
You grew
development.
me, sugar.
Is super hyped to hear about this.
Yeah, it's the
Feels
best.
good in his soul.
He really gets the best beats of his whole career. Yeah, when you get a big moment, like there's that episode of Star Trek Discovery where the cyborg girl you see her whole history, and we get her like how she wound up being a cyborg and everything, and then she sacrifices her life at the end, and we never see her again.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. To spoil that as well. Spoilers for everything. The difference with Rogue and Gambit and Rogue and Magneto is Magneto
Magneto's a real man, and Gambit's a
no,
little
he
bitch.
can't because his magnetic field is so strong around him, I guess. He can just repel her just enough to be for them to touch. I'm not sure exactly. In the comic books, what he would do was conjure this like alien machine to hover around or over top of them when they wanted to touch, called the Znox chamber. Anyway, they're gonna have a big gala, and here Rogue kisses Magneto and then realizes she's kind of made a mistake after telling all this stuff to Gambit. He meanwhile is dressed all in white and is just kind of moving around the party being a sulky bitch. Everybody's there at the party having a real good time. And then Madeline's out on the back porch having a drink and happy to be participating in something cool. Oh, earlier, important to note, we got Nightcrawler again. He's one of
Yeah.
many denizens of Genosha. We get some really cool sequences where you're traveling through Genosha, like we see them walk through the Genoshan market. And in the background, all of these younger characters are running around. We see like X-Men fans will recognize like Marrow and Dust and Armor and Exodus, which is a strange character to show up. But he does. I think Vulcan shows
Don't
up.
forget about Gelatin Skeleton.
Yeah, I don't know that guy's name per se, but that's an interesting one visually, right? Um,
Yeah.
there's a pixie dust character who's like a teleporting elf kind of girl.
Hmm.
So there's lots of fun little mutants just being popping up all over the background. And just Genosha seems like a really good time. Like, hey, when mutants can all live together, they're doing well. And we see most of the Morlocks are living there now, right? Because Callisto's one of the leaders, and Leech and Girl Who Melts into the Walls are there, and a couple of the other ones.
That's her
Hmm.
government name.
Yeah, Girl Who Melts into Walls. It's like a really cool. It's like she had her own limited series for like 3 or 4 issues in the '80s. Girl Who Melts into Walls, number 1 to 4. Hot ticket items. I
Dun,
think
dun, dun.
really Grant Morrison work, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, Nightcrawler's also there, but
Cable too.
why not there? Why not see Nightcrawler again? It's cool to see him. So anyway, Cable shows up and he realizes that he is too late, and Madeline realizes right away that he is the adult version of her son.
He's like, hey, wait a fucking second.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have time to make peace with that because he was trying to warn about what's happening, but you can't quite change what's happening with time travel, I guess. Like we even see the Watcher in the sky kind of watching things from above right before Cable shows up. Like this is doomed to
Mhm.
happen. Cable cannot change it no matter what he does, which kind of just adds to the doomed grim nature of everything because suddenly he fades out of exist like gets yanked back
Meow.
and boom, everything explodes. Madeline is killed right away. He says I'm sorry that he can't save her, and then she just like dies right away in the first blasts. Um, I in the
Master
comics when this
Mold.
happened, it was like millions of mutants died when this happened. Um, different person was in control of the Sentinel, and I'm not going to give away who or what. The difference is here in the comic books, it was Cassandra Nova, who was the villain of Deadpool and Wolverine,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is how she introduced herself to the world by just wiping out Genosha and most of the mutants.
Hello.
Yeah, kind of a crazy way to say hi. Um, Anyway, in this, it's not perceived as like just boom 9/11 moment because they can fight back. Magneto is alive, Rogue and Gambit and Nightcrawler are alive. We see Banshee and Marrow for a second, but they get blasted out of the universe, and I think that they're definitely dead. Callisto's dead for sure because we see her dead body in a pile of dead bodies, and it's referenced with a very ironic tone later that some of the other Morlocks are waiting for her to come and save them because they think they're okay. And Magneto
Oh,
comes along and says they're going to be safe because he really snaps into a leadership position right away. he says this awesome line like, we're not gonna wait, or we're not gonna wonder if we could have saved more people or anything. We're gonna fight back. And it's revealed that what's happening is like a Titan-sized master mold. It's kind of like almost got like beetle legs and wings, and it's like kind of weird, kind of a creepy, just strange shaped sentinel.
Mecha Master
Three
Mold.
heads that look in all the directions at once.
Yeah, yeah, it's got multiple heads, and there's a bunch of other sentinels coming out of it and attacking, and they're just killing everybody en masse. And ultimately, they get Gambit in their clutches, and
Mhm.
that's what Gambit wanted all along. And he supercharges them. And he says the name of the episode. My name's Gambit. Remember it. And then he blows the whole fucking thing up, including him with it.
He said, "It's Gambin time."
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Laissez le bon temps rouler, cher. And then he blew it up. It was cool though because he got stabbed with that thing, and then he's like, "Oh, I can use this to my advantage." And he like grabs it and like charges it with his energy and charges up the entire Master Mold Titan and
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
blows it all up. Like it was really cool.
Yeah, it's like the Pete Gambit moment, like one of the coolest things Gambit's ever done in any medium. And then the way that it ends with Rogue like saying she can't feel him anymore because she could always feel him before they had that extreme connection. Yeah, I just think it leaves you just with that sense of devastation. So I give this one a 10 personally. How about you guys?
Absolutely. 100%.
10 out of 10, no notes. Perfect.
Tens across the board. Yeah, fuck AI.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So now let's get to talking about Life Death, which was based on two stories that happened in kind of like the late hundreds, mid 80s Claremont era after Storm did lose her powers and did wind up having a romance with Forge, who turned out to be the man who created the technology that took away her powers, which is the crux of the drama of Life Death Part 1, which was tacked on to the end of Motovision as the end of Part 4 awkwardly, and then separated, and then um
That episode, by the way, is Motendo, for those following along.
Endo episode, and then Remember It is separates them, and then we come back for Life Death Part 2, which is half one story and half another story, but just blended together, which they could have done with Motendo, really, which
Mhm.
made it would have been more organic, I feel, than this, and and maybe just wrap it up before Remember It. I just don't really understand why they split it up. It feels like maybe Beau DeMayo was being a little twee or something with the separation. It kind of reminds me of Star Trek Discovery Season 3, how its season premiere is called That Hope Is You Part 1, and its season finale is That Hope Is You Part 2. And maybe they were trying to kind of like go for something like that. But I don't really think it works because I really think that Life Death could have been just done all at once. Like the Forge and Storm part of it. I would have accepted it just as one story on its own, just as those two characters. We got episodes like that in season 4 and 5 of the show anyway, you know?
Mhm.
Like as it is, I think it's not as strong because of the way they split it up with this Xavier story.
So I decided, because I saw Charley Feldman, and I was like, huh, I I feel like I know that name from somewhere. And Charley Feldman is actually a non-binary person, who is the daughter of one of the hosts of the Today Show, notably the one whose mother was kidnapped earlier this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you go on about that more? I don't really know anything about that.
Okay, so Savannah Guthrie, her mother was kidnapped out of her home, and they got like ransom notes, and but like there was a lot of weird shit around it. Like the ring camera was disabled for just the hour that her mom went missing.
Oh,
Bunch of really weird shit. Um, I'm pretty sure that lady did.
Hmm.
Um, because I haven't heard anything about it in a while, bad or good. So, but yeah, that's the Today Show host, Savannah Guthrie. Charley Feldman is their child.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Yes.
So
But
you're saying
also,
Charlie Feldman kidnapped the grandma?
they're I hate you so much. But on a happier note, they have a cat named Gilda Radner.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm shocked by the dramas associated with the writing team of the
Yeah.
show. Um, I'm not so sure the drama comes through in these episodes per se. Um, I think part two is particularly clunky. Um, the number one song though was at least not Metro Booming anymore. We had Too Sweet by Hozier.
Okay.
I like Hozier. They're cool. I can't tell you this song off the
I
top of
think it's that whiskey song. Talks about how he likes his whiskey. I know it. I'm hip.
Oh, that's that song? Oh,
I
I
know stuff. Yeah.
heard it on the radio yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. This is a
Yeah.
clever song. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's called Too Sweet, which is not something I'd usually describe whiskey as, but
Forge takes Storm to his ranch, where he's created a machine that he thinks can restore her powers, but it doesn't work at first. It's not working so far. Storm also notices there's a weird owl flying around the ranch. After a couple weeks of hanging out and fucking, Forge admits that he'd also designed the technology that took her powers away, so that's why he thinks his machine would work. He didn't directly work with the Executioner, but he did make the machines that the Executioner's gun was based on. Storm gets really fucking pissed and she leaves, and then the owl turns out to be a demon called the Adversary, and everything gets all spooky and turns supernatural around her. And
mhm.
he when she's like riding a horse away from him, right? Because she can't fly, but she wants to feel free. But then the adversary takes her. She blacks out. She wakes up back in the ranch and finds that Forge has been poisoned by the adversary. The adversary is a villain from the comics that did appear in the original Life Death story. I've seen a later story where Forge, when he was the leader of X Factor, fights the adversary, and it was pretty cool. The adversary is a pretty spooky demon. It's like a Native American demon that is haunting them and fucking with the Native American mutants. It's a pretty cool concept, and at least in the first part here, I think it's pretty good. You know, it was tantalizing. At this point in the Life Death story, I was pretty interested in it.
yeah.
You know,
And then they left us on a cliffhanger.
and then came back to it 2 weeks later, and we're like, okay, we're mentally prepared to come back to this. The best part of the episode for me is when Nightcrawler is now in the opening credits.
Yes.
Gambit's gone, which is sad because he's dead.
That, yeah.
But Nightcrawler is in the team, and he's cooler. I'm a more of a Nightcrawler guy than I am a Gambit guy, especially because they've kind of toned down the religious elements of Nightcrawler so far, which is nice.
He sure
Writer's
loves
room full of gay
sporting
people.
around
They're
a
like,
lot.
no, done.
We're just focusing on the fun stuff with Nightcrawler. Uh,
Mhm.
so the first thing we're gonna do is reintroduce him in a 9/11 reference because like the original, they're referencing E for Extinction, which is I think from 2004 or so, but is definitely written as like a direct response to 9/11 in the Marvel universe. It is the mutant 9/11. So I think it makes a lot of sense that in the first season of this show back that they would refer to that, even though it came a couple years later. It just really fits into what they're doing overall with the season and everything. But anyway, we are randomly in another fucking galaxy with a battle between the Shi'ar and Kree empires. So a little bit of
Mhm.
whiplash because it's so unexpected. But it's kind of cool to see them in good quality animation, right? We see Shi'ar Empress Lilandra announce her engagement to Xavier, who they say is now healed. He comes out in a real nerdy super suit, which
Oh
is
yeah.
whole episode. It looks all kind of like Lex Luthor armor in some
Oh
ways.
God.
It's
It
not,
looks so
The bald
dumb.
isn't helping.
yeah, like it's a direct
No.
reference to what he did look like in the comic book storyline that they're referencing here, but it's not a great look. I think,
Still doesn't work. Canon or not.
yeah.
Right.
We do get some Deathbird though. I fucking love Deathbird. Great character.
The right of M.
Always,
Dasha.
always fun when the black sheep of the Shi'ar family is having fun. She invokes the right of Madasha or M Dasha
I
or
love that shit.
an M dash, which most people know today only because it's a dead giveaway that you're reading AI.
Hmm.
Or you're reading something written by a fucking linguistics major.
Yeah, like my writing
Same
partner
thing.
is always putting M dashes and everything.
I That's honestly one of my favorite things is that meme from Office Space where talking like somebody's like talking about AI. It's like, no, why should I have to change? He's the one who sucks.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yes, Michael Bolton. So the right of Madasha is a challenge to Xavier to purge all of his memories of Earth to prove his loyalty to the Shi'ar.
Bet you all your memories so you can stay here forever.
Because he keeps saying to the Laundry like he wants to go back and check on his buddies because he's like, healed. And
Yeah. It's like, hey, can I go home now?
so we're interspersing back and forth with the life death part of the story, the actual life death. I think this other thing maybe it was part of life death back when it was started, but I'm sure it was a more logical part of it. So we come back to the ranch, and Storm is still fighting the demon adversary Owl form, which is making her question everything about who she is. And then Forge kind of wakes up. He's still poisoned, but he's using his mother's spell book to expel the demon. One thing I really like is that when he's doing his magic, the way the magic shows up and it is visualized is the same as the Doctor Strange magic. Uh, I thought that was a nice, cool continuity. That was good. That was like well
Totally.
done. Um, so anyway, he then tells Storm that they've got to go search for a rare cactus that can cure the poison that the adversary has given him.
Fucking Zelda ass quest.
Yeah, so
Come
she goes and
on.
she finds the cactus in a cave, but then the adversary attacks her again.
Hmm.
And she overcomes her fears and her powers come back. I guess the idea is that her powers had been cured before by the machine, and there was a mental block in the battle with the adversary. Kind of helps her overcome that, but it just kind of feels like, yada yada yada, her powers are back.
It definitely felt
Yeah.
like, by the power of friendship, I have powers. Like, where did this? Okay, sure.
And
Why not?
she gets her costume like just appears on her body, and
I like that.
it's cool looking, and it's the original costume, which is awesome to see animated on film, like the Black Storm classic costume.
Big time. Big fan.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's cool, but it's a little bit like just it feels a little bit Power Rangers, feels a little bit sloppy in the writing, just a little bit compared to
A
like how
bit
before.
Sailor Moonish.
A little bit.
Yeah,
We love Sailor
Mhm.
Moon, but it's a totally like different universe with different.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
like
go back.
did the weather make her costume? Like, is it made out of weather?
Oh, if we're gonna start pulling apart that, I need to know what goes on with that woman's hair.
Oh, like maybe her
Mm,
costume is like a bunch of ball lightning, giving you blue balls,
Lightning balls?
maybe.
Balls on your
blue
lightning.
lightning balls, blue ball lightning. So,
Hmm.
so we go back to space, and Xavier is refusing to renounce his memories of the X-Men because what the fuck? And that turns into a fight between the Shi'ar Imperial Guard and Deathward's supporters, which is some other members of the Imperial Guard. And Xavier pulls everyone to the astral plane to educate them on coexistence. And
Oh,
here's the first time I watched this through, I really wanted to like it. So I like was hooked by his message because he gives a good speech like that's true about colonialism being bad and not being hypocritical and everything. But the visualization of them all being like in a classroom and he's like at a chalkboard.
Hated it.
I really did
Really
not.
didn't like it. Didn't need
Neoliberal
it.
democracy is the only way. Don't you see? You
Yeah,
don't see it? Eat an apple, you bitch. Fuck you.
it just felt
Raise your hand.
really obviously didactic in a cringy way. Didn't work for me in the way that a lot of the other stuff happened. I actually really was hating this part of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then we get snapped out of this by a psychic vision of Gambit's death that is fucking amazing. Gambit's huge in front of him, and then like you see his skull, and he's kind of like very much like some kind of Grim Reaper, which is a
Oh,
cool hint about him being connected to death,
oh,
maybe. And Xavier's like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going back to Earth.
yeah.
And like this whole part of it could have been an email. I genuinely believe that if Xavier just showed up later without us have seen any of this, it would have been better. And this time maybe it would have been better spent on like a subplot with like Wolverine and Morph dealing with Morph's feelings or something, because that isn't really going to come up in the
Yeah,
rest.
that would be a change because we did spend a lot of the old series on Wolverine's feelings, so we should get other people's feelings.
And Beau DeMayo was actually really, really clear that the reason that he didn't deal with Wolverine a whole lot this season is because Wolverine got the bulk of the attention in the original show and has had like a really thorough exploration of who he is. And I think that's totally fair. I'm really glad that we get more Cyclops, more Storm, more everybody but Xavier. We get a little bit more of Storm and Forge. Like she does manage to heal him, and then on TV they see the Genosha attack, and she decides she's going to go back to the X-Men. She's ready for that. So that's another thing that's kind of like, maybe we didn't need to see that her declare that she was going to do that, because
No.
it's kind of like telegraphing stuff
That
that,
was so funny though. Like when she got her powers back, like Forge is on death's door. He
Oh
needs
yeah.
that cactus. And she's just like, "Wee powers, yay!" And like flies around for like 10 minutes and gets a new costume. And he's
Like,
just like,
damn, we're on a fucking time crunch here.
right?
yeah,
I'm
a little
more
bit.
purple by the second. Please.
And
You
then,
got my good arm.
Yeah, and then we get a cool little post teaser where Bolivar Trask, who we saw in the first episode, and like we got a refresher on the fact that he invented the Sentinels and he's been the big problem. And Mr. Sinister catches up to him and he warns that Genosha is just the beginning. So we're kind of like we're starting to move into the end game of the season, the third. I'd say from here on in, we're in the third act. This is kind of like, a denouement from the second act peaks with Remember It for sure. I think this is the worst episode of the season, and I give
oh
it a
no.
5.
I mean, okay, so I am gonna give it a 6, only for the cool Gambit vision with the Grim Reaper shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 5.69.
As
And he's back.
long as somebody's getting a blowjob in there somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this time, I guess it's Forge, because she forgives him.
Mm-hmm. Or
Isn't that
Xavier.
great?
Sort of great. It's okay.
It's over. That's what it is.
I do like that Forge is such a complicated person and character. Like, I think the overall character stuff that's being done is good. It's just the execution of this falls flat for me. So let's get on to Bright Eyes here, which opens where you expected things to open after the end of episode 5, with Gambit's very sad funeral. And everybody is all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
in their feelings about it. Jubilee is mad because Rogue isn't there, and she says, like, oh, he loved her. He saved us all. And it's like, it's good. It's nice to see Jubilee like really speaking for herself and, having a problem with somebody, and yeah, makes sense to me what she's saying, you know?
Yeah. This was such a powerful, so many great moments, so many little details that were really good, so much exposition that was done really well.
A
Like
lot
this
of
was a great episode.
totally
Really
Oh
great.
it
god.
really
Maybe my
focused on
favorite episode yet.
And like they
Yeah.
jumped, I love the jump from like them saying like Rogue's dealing with it in her own way to Rogue destroying a military base, trying to
Yeah.
find
That
Gyrick.
was the best, man.
Rogue's doing things her own way. Oof.
Yeah.
Like really well
Absolutely
animated, really
cinema.
dynamic sequence. Really gives me hope for the future that she runs into General Thunderbolt Ross, and we get a reference to the Hulk. The world is starting to feel bigger. And then
Hmm.
she goes to the next place, which is where Gyrick had been taken by Sinister at the end of episode 5, I think, or episode 6, yeah, at the end of Live Death.
Yeah.
And she runs into Captain America, and at first Captain America's all like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, we're on your side. We agree with everything. This is all great." And then when uh, he gets to the end of the information period, and it's like, "Oh, and now we're waiting for the government to give us clearance to go and do this." And Rogue says, "Oh, okay. You're
Yeah.
all about lip service, but when it comes down to doing something, you're not actually with us. You're just paying
Hmm.
lip service, and you're allowing the cogs of government to do what they're going to do, and the world doesn't have the time for that bullshit." And it feels very
So
much
good.
like, yeah, it felt like the energy of the X-Men speaking to the neoliberal Democratic DNC party take on
Hmm.
things, which is like, let the machinery of war work how it's going to work. Things will work out fine. That isn't the problem with the society, even though
Mhm.
like the war and the capitalism. The Democrats really need to hold on to that shit, and Captain America holding on to that instead of being like the paradigm of actual true values is to me feels more authentic than like
Mhm.
see you Captain
Hmm.
America.
Well, I mean, like,
I love too how
even
she called him America's like number one cop, and then like was like, "Oh, if your hands are tied, I guess you won't be needing this," and just fucking whips his shield like way into the mountains. And he's just like, "Fuck,
this
fine."
is one of those
So
things
good.
because
Mhm.
I I feel like this actually parallels really well to today because like yeah, everybody like I saw an overwhelming amount of people being like, "Oh, Congress ruled that they can't have war in Iran." And I was like, "Okay.
Yeah,
Do
did
you
you think
think
that's
that's
gonna
going to
matter?
stop anything?"
Yeah.
Like, do you think that like a piece of paper is going to like fly down over the war zone and it's just going to be over? No. We have to stop asking for permission from these people.
Like we've known since the Venezuela invasion that they're full-on war criminals, the way that
Like,
they're like killing random people just because they're in boats,
Little
yeah,
speedboats, yeah.
bombing fucking
striking them so that
speedboats,
there's nothing even left to be even investigated to see if
Yeah.
was drugs on those boats. Double
bombing a speedboat and sprinkling crack over it.
like
Hmm.
unmitigated.
Attacking an enemy and then having the fucking Minister of War, not of peace, but war,
Yeah.
being like, or the Secretary of War, saying, turn around and kill them. Like that is against the Geneva Convention. It's against American fucking policy. It's against everything. You don't turn around and kill them if they're not going to survive. You go and save them. You put
But
them in
those
jail
Geneva
if they're criminals.
Conventions don't apply to the G8.
And
They can do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck they want because they have.
they're in.
It's disgusting. The G8, all those Geneva Conventions were really used was to oppress smaller countries and control them and keep them in line. It was never about a set of rules for everybody.
We didn't punish the
And
Confederates and we
ultimately
didn't
bring
punish the
Nazi
Nazis, and
justice.
now we're here.
Uh-huh. I mean, there was financial reparations put on Germany for sure, but that was also part of the problem in the first place.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they let a bunch of people go to Argentina and get off scot-free.
Yeah, we definitely focused more on oppressing Japan after World War II than Germany.
Uh-huh.
We prevented Japan from forming a military for a long time, but Germany not so much.
Nope.
I mean, they
But
did
we on
the
the
ultimate war
America, the
crime in
fact that
Japan by
Canada's a
dropping
robot.
nuclear bombs on civilian targets. But anyway, yes,
Yeah,
America's bad, is what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. And thankfully this show seems to be aware of that, which I like.
Mhm.
Um,
There really is a sense of anti-imperialism to this that didn't really exist back then
mhm.
Mhm.
in the original.
I also noticed these episodes are rated TV 14.
Mhm.
Have they always been TV 14 on the
Nope.
series?
No, just in
Okay.
X-Men 97. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think every episode, but like it's definitely like it's nice for the first time this show is consciously aware that its audience has grown. Like this is for people who watched the
Mhm.
show 30 years ago If you're younger and you're willing
Yeah.
to catch up, great.
Yeah.
And those people do exist and have found the show. But but I think the reason that's happened is because it's so strongly for the people who are fans of the original show that are our age now, that are in this position and have these values and interests.
They
And
did a reboot
Mhm.
with the target audience, the original target audience in mind, not bringing it into a new generation.
yeah, they're not like
They,
making like a Starfleet Academy out of it with brand new characters and situations and just shoehorning a couple legislacy elements in. This is fully just continuing the story, but in a more grown-up way.
yeah.
And it really shows, right?
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a much more complete arc, whereas X-Men 92 was always it was a Saturday morning cartoon and it was fucking great. But like this feels
Mhm.
more cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got an extra 10 minutes per episode, and that is spent on character and like logic and great animation as well. Like
And
every episode has
of course, Jean's feelings.
Gene's feelings. I really noticed in these two episodes that Gene has a new voice. Like the original
Ah,
voice actress is playing Val Cooper now and doing a great job. But Gene's voice is a lot softer, and I would think that she'd be a little harder. I do wish that Gene had a little bit more anger in her voice.
there was more of an edge to her voice when she was Madeline.
Oh, I think that's what it
Mm.
is.
Yeah, I think she softened it when she became Jean again. I think Madeline had that like bite to her, and
Mm,
that's what I loved it.
I think you're right.
But as soon as she put that hair back in the ponytail, I was like, "Oh, Jean's back.
I
The
Jean's back."
ponytail pulls on the throat muscles and makes her nicer sounding.
gives it a little bit more of a higher pitch, higher register.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
Yes.
I do really appreciate how Jean is actually proactive in this series, though. Like she's actually suggesting things to people and leading moments and having the hard conversations when Cyclops is in his feelings, which is cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rogue finds Gyrick in Mexico in a fucking like Mexican villa surrounded by guards, which I really appreciated that he was being so protected.
That
Uh,
motherfucker from Nexium.
and then,
Found him in Mexico, surrounded by security.
yeah, of course.
Hmm.
And then Rogue absorbs his memories and finds out what's going on, learns a lot of it, but doesn't learn some really important things too that will come forward because I guess Garrick wasn't fully in on the loop. Then he gets murdered later that night in our first real like hint cameo of Bastion, right? Like
Hmm.
we've been we've known that there's a player behind the scenes, but this is real introduction this episode. Like it's all about
Fine, I'll do it myself. Oh wait, no, sorry, wrong MCU.
Close enough.
I personally have been waiting for Bastion since 1997. He was the villain of like the Operation Zero Tolerance thing that they're doing in this was the main big crossover story of 1997 when the comics were ending, and Bastion was a great villain at the time. And I never actually saw how it ended.
Okay, so just a small thing. OZT, every time I hear it, I hear AZT, which at that time was a medication for HIV. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm like, wait a second. Did they? Okay,
Maybe
maybe.
it's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible. And yeah, I was just like, wait a second, huh? Kind of put that together. I don't know if it's the same, but I thought it was neat.
It was the thing they built up for several years. Like even
Uh-huh.
before the Onslaught storyline that had happened like the summer before, there was references to Operation Zero Tolerance, and people were like they were discovering things about them that the Sentinels are moving, and we knew who Bastion was. And then the Onslaught situation with Xavier going nuts kind of justified to the government, oh, okay, let's fund this, let's greenlight it. So that is what like Xavier going bad and turning into a main villain and killing the Avengers in Fantastic Four is what greenlit this all happening in the comic books. Although I don't think Magneto was a part of the story so much because Magneto was kind of being had been replaced by a clone and eventually would come back as a bad guy a full year or two later. So Magneto's inclusion in this is like part of what makes it really elevates it and makes it better, I think.
They love a clone story. They love
They
clones.
love shooting their load on clone stories and everybody turning on them by the time they finish them. Yeah. the Spider-Man clone saga was just
Get
like
a whole jug of clone stories at the end.
I'm
yeah,
gonna
like
lose
2 years
it.
of pissing off the fans with saying that Peter Parker had been the clone for 30 years.
Listen, do you all remember when they were like, "Hey, fun fact, Captain America's a Nazi now," and they just wanted us to like believe that
Well, the
Hmm.
he's been a Nazi the whole time.
Yeah, he's Captain America.
yeah, it was a really dumb story.
Wait, now that's actually funnier.
To say it's permanent. It's the status quo now. And then 2 years later, because that failed, they have a new permanent status quo. So yeah, the comic books are going to be run by the people who've been running this show and the Marvel TV past couple of years. So who knows? Maybe it'll get back on track, or maybe it'll just be more of the same. But anyway,
So
uh,
is Kevin Feige involved in the comics too at this point?
no, it's a guy named Brad Winderbaum who's been running. He's been kind of like the guy who reports to Kevin Feige about TV, and now he's going to be running the comic book side of things. I think in part because they're scaling back how much TV they're making. They only want to make like
Mm.
2 shows, 3 shows a year. I think they're just doing the Spider-Man and the X-Men cartoon every year now, and then like one live action show a year. And I think it's Daredevil for now. But who knows? I think Daredevil only has like 1 or 2 more seasons in it because they're kind of wrapping up everything you can do with Daredevil.
Mm.
I saw
Just
this
gets his sight back, and that's that.
Just
I
like
saw this I saw this meme the other day. There was like Daredevil is such a funny character because like basing him in Hell's Kitchen was fine back in the day because it was ran by the Irish mob. Now it's just like an upscale gay neighborhood. Because like Hell's Kitchen has been gentrified.
yeah, it doesn't mean the same thing. I find the
It
latest
sure doesn't.
about the whole of New York City
Yeah.
altogether, than the actual Hell's Kitchen. So, um, anyway, Guy gets murdered, and then we cut to Genosha, where the X-Men are helping with the rubble and the recovery, and they talk about how like they're just trying to find one more person, and any hope that they can find will be good, which leads to them finding Emma Frost is alive and well and in a diamond form. This is also how her diamond form was debuted in the comics. She survived the E is for Extinction event in New X-Men when that happened, when Cassandra Nova attacked the planet, attacked Genosha. And the X-Men are contacted by Bolivar Trask, who tells them that he's in Madripoor and they need to come. And along the way, they link up with Rogue. Everybody's just like, "Hey, heard about your war crimes. Cool."
Welcome back, babe. How you doing?
Yeah. Meanwhile,
So, how are you?
meanwhile, we get like Roberto and Jubilee are off on their side quest. They go in to visit Roberto's mom, who's hosting a party, and there he tells her that he's a mutant, and she says, "Oh, we've known all along, and we've been keeping it a secret, and you're going to keep it a secret too." Because
Yeah, she's like, why don't you keep that under wraps, bud?
yeah,
The mother knows.
yeah,
Listen,
important story to be telling. I think, like a parent that's ashamed of their kids, and they're doing it in
uh-huh.
Jubilee's original story, where
I think there's some overtones here. Do you want to take it away, Jamie?
Growing up with two parents who were very liberal minded, but didn't actually want that in their home, I really felt this.
Hmm.
keep going.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it was basically just like I grew up a lot of the time being like, "Oh, well, gay people are fine, but when are you going to get a girlfriend?" And it was just like it's very much you keep that part of yourself to yourself. That's none of our business.
But don't ask
And
for hotel in your own home thing.
that's exactly it. It was I internalized that for my whole life. It's just now that I've become comfortable talking about like my romantic life with people because I was always told like, "Oh, that's private." Why?
Hmm.
And that's what's
Honestly, this was
happening.
such an emotionally important scene too. Like
Yeah.
it really hit for me too because I felt that overtone and like I'm not gay and I've never had to come out to my parents, but I've always really had a soft spot for that. And yeah, I think it's like it's an important thing to show, and it's probably important for young people to see it too. So
I was
hopefully
thinking
they
like
connect the dots too. I think they would.
seeing this as a teenager, would have hit. It would have hit hard. Like, and so I'm really glad that this exists in this time.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's a really obvious metaphor of what's going on. They're like updating it for modern times. There's a lot of talk about how they're Malcolm X and Xavier and Magneto are Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, but also like on a large broader scale, they're also very much like gay leaders and different philosophies of like, do you hide and do you coalesce or do you aggressively live the way you feel you need to live?
It's very much a metaphor for trans rights today because like a lot of people are being forced to either detransition or at least go into a mode so that they don't get arrested for having the wrong gender on their license. Like it's fucking crazy. Like I'm not even gonna pretend that I still get oppressed the way that I used to. It's really easy to be a white gay person, especially in Canada. I'm just gonna say that. But like people in the States, especially who are having their rights taken away just simply because our president is afraid of trans people is it's fucking crazy. Yeah,
Mhm.
just needed to say that.
Yeah, no, it's very power to you. You are the voice on this. I respect the shit out of you, buddy.
Thanks,
Um,
France.
yeah. So we go back to Madripoor, and the X-Men learn that Sinister and the UN's secret OZT division have been developing a highly advanced Sentinel program. Trask is decides he's going to end his life having revealed this because he sees that he has started something totally evil and out of control. Rogue doesn't let him go out himself. Gets more information from him and he doesn't have it. So then she decides she's going to be the one to make the decision for him. Holy shit. This movie
Oh
is
So good.
man.
good.
So good.
And then
Yeah.
he just rises because he has turned into one of these sentinels already, like Dracula on his jetpack.
Shut up.
Hmm.
Shut your fucking mouth.
They're now fighting mutants with mutants. You
Yes.
know, they've made like a techno mutant
Yeah,
that's
they've
gonna
created an
supersede
evolved
the
tech.
mutants.
Yeah, the combination of the technology and the human, which is like I was referencing in that Hickman arc where
That's
more
a
Taggart,
that that's
like
a fucking Cyberman.
yeah, like the technological evolution versus the organic evolution is what's being debated here. Like is where how we're evolving versus how our minds are evolving our machines. It's a great theme, and it's so terrifyingly done when Trask rises and he just starts kicking all of their asses. They're just pulling up
Ugh.
for him. These are Sentinels that like are prepared for them, have data on them, and can defend themselves against them, like they're Borg that have already fought them, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah, the Borg is a really good parallel, actually.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that the Borg, like the fascistic replacement of human identity through technological superiority is very, very aligned. And not surprising that Beau DeMayo has written for Star Trek. Like
Hmm.
these themes are very clearly speak to him. Be really interesting to see what Beau DeMayo's take on like Doctor Who would be.
Would be nice to see anybody's take on Doctor Who. I'm gonna be totally honest.
Yeah, what's going on with Billy Piper?
Idris Elba declared as new Doctor Who.
Oh, I'd be fine with
No
that.
way.
Boom.
Jessica Alba?
No, Idris
Idris Elba.
Elba.
Oh, either one of those would be fucking hilarious. No.
You know what? Actually, yeah, Jessica Alba. Let's do that. However,
Jessica Alba in
Let's have Jessica
blackface.
Alba as Doctor Who and Idris as the companion.
ooh,
And the villain can be called the Elbow.
I'm just gonna close this.
Well, that was fun. Join us next week. Just kidding.
Yeah, they're losing the battle until their own technological man from the future, Cable, shows up and launches an EMP, and that blow defeats Trask. And he explains that Sinister is working with a greater threat that they have to stop. He explains that this threat is called Bastion, and Bastion is like the instigator of the terrible future that he lives in, and need to stop it. Um, he reveals to Bastion reveals to Sinister that Xavier is alive and in space. Again, like I totally feel like we'd be so much better off without any of this Xavier in space stuff. And Magneto is alive too, and he's got him held prisoner.
Yeah, I kind of figured that guy was still kicking around. He doesn't die well. Never
Also,
been good at dying, that guy.
Jean immediately clocks that Cable is Nathan Summers, and Cyclops figures it out pretty quick after that.
Like,
So
hey, aren't you a
the big
giant version of
reveal.
my son?
The big reveal that like didn't even exist at the time the show started, and they introduced the characters, but it finally happened. 30 years later, I think everyone was like frustrated that it never happened, and the show finally gets to happen, which is cool. And yeah, we're left in a real dire state. We know the scope of what's coming now. I feel like this is really like it's more like a four-part
Absolutely.
epic, right? And this is part one.
It
This
is.
feels like a
Yeah.
prequel to a three. If it's going to be a three-part, this feels like a prequel.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
much is. It's the same story.
Yeah.
I give it a 9. It's a great episode, and the only reason that I don't give it a full-on 10 is because I know there's a little bit more room for things to get a little bit better than this. But
There it
it's
is.
uh, yeah.
Agreed. 9 because
Having
I know what's
not watched
coming.
anything else, yeah, I'm gonna say 10 because I don't know what's coming, and I'm glad. I like this.